Hello everybody and welcome back to Kpjaw, and today it's gonna be a bit of a special video. As you guys can see, Shinee World. I'm wearing my demon shirt. I got back in oh my god, I want to say my it was like the end of my freshman year, sophomore year of high school, when I ordered the shirt off eBay, and it's the Asian sizes, so it's kind of small, but I can never see myself throwing this out because I literally can't find it anywhere anymore. If you guys can still find it, just put me a link in the comments down below. But anyway, back to what this whole video is about, referencing this shirt. It's none other than my boys. It is their 10-year anniversary. I cannot believe how far they've come. I'm just so happy with everything they've accomplished, everything they've done. And I feel like we don't talk a lot about Shinee on this channel, and I feel like maybe some people don't know, but Shinee is what got me into K-pop in the first place back in 2010. And Hello was my first song I ever heard. It's just still to this day holds such a special place in my heart because, it was just something that just touched me for some reason. It touched my heart. It's hard to explain, but Shinee it just always holds a special place in my heart. They're my #1 boy group, and if you look at my Twitter bio, I pretty much tell you who's my top 2 boy groups and my top 2 girl groups. For me, like I said, Shinee, EXO, and then Luna Girls' Generation. And so today, me, Jordan, and Jerron all decided that we wanted to do a top 10 favorite Shinee songs. I think it's almost kind of impossible to have a top 10 favorite Shinee songs out of 10 years worth of music, out of their whole discography. You guys know what I mean. How I look at it is I have a favorite song off of every album they've ever released, including their Japanese music, because there's no way in hell you can leave out their Japanese music as a group, because they have done so much. They have such an amazing discography for Japanese music. It's crazy. My first Shinee album was the Dazzling Girl album, which is crazy, but that was the first Shinee album I ever had, was their Dazzling Girl album. And because technically that was the first comeback I had with them, because they technically was the Dazzling Girl era in Japan. So that was kind of my first comeback with them, even though they didn't promote in Korea, but they did have an album which I loved, which, like I said, was the first album I ever had by them. And then after that was 2012, I believe, which is when Sherlock came out, and that's also the same year I got into EXO as well. So I was around 2 years late to Shinee, which isn't bad, but I feel like I missed some iconic songs. I missed Replay, obviously their debut, Ring Ding Dong, Lucifer, Juliette, Love Like Oxygen, and just all of those, which are some of my favorite songs they ever released. So it was really fun catching up on all those as well. So I'm just gonna kind of give you guys kind of a sort of top 10. It was kind of impossible. We kind of came to a conclusion that when it comes to the Japanese stuff, that we were going to only allow ourselves to choose 2 tracks from their whole Japanese playlist. Do you see what I mean by how this is kind of impossible because of how amazing their Japanese songs are? DXDXD, Breaking News, Dazzling Girl, 365, which is one of my favorite side tracks they have. But I will admit I do have 2 favorite Japanese songs by them, which are on this list. So let me go ahead and just get into it, starting with my number 10, which is the song Y.O.U, or how they spell it is Y.O.U. This song just brings me to tears sometimes. It's just so beautiful. Another thing I want to mention is that I have a sleep playlist. I feel like I've talked about it in videos before, but I do have a sleep playlist. And in that sleep playlist, practically all of Shinee's songs are on my sleep playlist. Almost all of their side tracks, because They're a contemporary group. There's such a wide variety of sound, but the sound I've always just really enjoyed them doing the most is more on the ballad side, because or just the ballad / R&B, like that's just such a sound for them that it's just, to me, it's an iconic Shinee sound. So that's why You definitely, I feel like is one of my favorite Shinee songs, because it's just to me, it's an iconic song that doesn't really get enough recognition. Like, if you guys haven't heard some of these songs I'm going to mention, I highly recommend you go and you listen to all these songs, as well as literally just all 10 years of music that Shinee has created, including their Japanese stuff, including their solo tracks, because we have some soloists in this group. We have Jonghyun and we have Taemin, and it's just, you know, they're just so multi-talented that you're gonna have enough music to catch up on. That's for sure, if you're behind. So my number 9, I put Alarm Clock. Oh, okay. The Sherlock album, guys, like I said, that was like my my actual first big Korean comeback with them, and that album blew my mind. Like, it blew my mind, and I absolutely love this album. This album is just absolutely amazing, and Alarm Clock is definitely like my favorite song off this album, along with Honesty. It was really hard for me to choose between Alarm Clock and Honesty, to be honest. See what I did there? Okay, yeah, no, that was cheesy. Number 8 on my list is actually a Japanese song, and it is Password. I know I said I kind of have a hard time, like, I had a hard time, like, making a top 10, but for some reason I always have, like, an easy list when it comes to some of my favorite performances by Shinee, like live performances, and Password is just one of those for me, and it's just such an amazing song. Like, I feel like whenever I introduce people to Shinee, like, I always show them Password, because it's just so, it makes you feel like you're in space. Like, it's just totally like Xenon, like Girl of the 21st Century. Like, do you guys remember like that Disney movie? Like, I don't know why this song reminds me of something that would be in that same theme, but it is, and I just absolutely adore it. It's probably definitely my top 2 like favorite Shinee Japanese songs. And number 7, which is kind of like the same thing, it's also one of their Japanese. To me, this is probably their best Japanese song they've ever released, and that's Picasso. Okay. It's probably one of my favorite live stages as well. I literally watch it like all the time. Picasso is it's such a powerful song paired with such a powerful dance that it just, honestly, it just shows that Shinee can not only dominate the Korean music industry, but they could also dominate the Japanese music industry. Number 6, number 6, I have Feel Good. The One of One album, honestly, was probably one of my favorite albums they released, next to like Everybody and their first album, and like I love this song. This song was something, when it came out, I literally listened to it pretty much every day, like the rest of the year from the time it came out, like not even for the rest of the year until now. Like, I pretty much listen to it every day. My number 5 on my list is probably the first song I listened to on my sleep playlist, which is Quasimodo. I absolutely love this song, and I feel like just the live stage is also iconic. Like, it's just such a soothing song that I just had to put it on my list. And like I said, it literally is just the first song on my sleep playlist, and there's a reason for that. And number 4 is Best Place. Okay. It's hard to have a debut album. That's something that's so ahead of its time. I've said this about EXO before, but Shinee takes the cake for having one of the best debut albums of all time, with just Best Place really just hit a chord with me. The next song on my list, which is song number 3, is I feel like this song never gets any recognition. I never see anyone talking about it except for Shinee fans, but it is Romeo+Juliette, and I just don't think people realize how good this song is. Like, it just makes me so mad when I mention this song to somebody and they're just like, oh, like, I've listened to their albums, but that song just never stood out to me. And just makes me think, why hasn't this song stood out to you? Like, this song on the Juliette album, it's my favorite song off that album. Number 2 for me is Like a Fire off the Misconceptions album. And Like a Fire, like, there was like, I don't know if this was going around Twitter for a while, but it was like the grids of like a K-pop artist, and it had like all their songs, and you had like, there was like the bars, and you had to like choose which song between 2 you liked, and at the end you'd finally have like a battle between like the final 2. Well, I did that for Shinee's, but I didn't really like Shinee's, nor did I like EXO's, because it didn't have a whole discography on it, which, you know, you can't really do, because like I said, 10 years worth of discography, it's a little hard, but I kind of just worked with whatever songs were there, and Like a Fire came out on top, and which is actually not that surprising, because off this album, Like a Fire, like, and Hitchhiking were just 2 songs that I was just really trying to choose between, because I listened to Hitchhiking like every day along with Like a Fire, and I had to choose, and I feel like a Fire just got chosen, I think, because I love Like a Fire, as well as like the live stage is such an iconic Shinee live stage to me. They just were having so much fun in Key taking Jonghyun's high note, you know, it's just and a really, that live stage for some reason just holds a special place in my heart, which also means that the song itself holds a special place in my heart, which is why it's number 2. My number 1, it's not very surprising, is Hello, because that is the song that got me into Shinee in the first place. I remember my parents and my brother even know that song, because back then I didn't have my own computer. I had to go into the computer out in our loft area, which is pretty much open to the whole house. And so I'd have my iTunes on there. I remember when I first got into Shinee, I would literally just only listen to Hello. Like, I wasn't super aware that they had other music yet. You know, at that time I was like 14, I think, 14 and a half, almost 15. And I remember I literally would play that song constantly, every day. I would hear my parents humming it, I would hear my brother humming it, and they get so annoyed because I literally would play it all the time, because I was so obsessed with that song. Like, I was, oh god, and I remember right from the beginning, it was Taemin who caught my eye. And since that day, Taemin has just been, like, he's just been, I don't know, like, he's like my old, he's my old bias. And, you know, I do have other old biases, but Taemin kind of just reigns on top. But to kind of get into a more, I don't want to say depressing, but I want to say, you know, not really that happy. Like, I'm really bad at, like, wording and stuff like this, but, you know, we didn't do much around Jonghyun's passing, and, you know, we saw other big Trending World fans on Twitter and YouTube reacting to Jonghyun's music videos that they put out and his album, or making a video about him. But in reality, we did make a video talking about all this, but we were going to combine it with Jordan's video, and it ended up being we were sending it over to them, and it ended up getting deleted on accident, and we already deleted it off our memory card because we thought everything was fine. And it still kind of makes me sad to this day that we couldn't release that video, because I actually liked that video, because I feel like it was just like a new side of us you guys haven't seen before. And, you know, it made me kind of sad that we weren't able to release it, because I feel like we just talked about a lot of important stuff. So, I don't know, maybe we'll do it like in our thoughts in the future and touch more on the topic. Anyway, back to just this whole thing and how, you know, just how his passing kind of like affected me. To make this video, honestly, was kind of hard. Since his passing, it's been kind of hard for me to listen to their music, to be honest. It's kind of hard for me to listen to their music, just hearing him and it was kind of hard for me to do an album review for his album, and because like I'm kind of past the point of crying, but back when it was still kind of fresh and they kind of released his album and his music videos, like I cried like a lot. Like I was like, whenever I heard his voice, when I saw his photos, like it just reminded me like, wow, like I kind of grew up with them, you know, and like to have that, and they were kind of like my comfort zone, so to kind of have that, you know, tampered with, or just my comfort zone be ruined in some way, was like really shocking to me, because I kind of talk about it on Twitter a little bit here and there, but you know, I suffer with anxiety, with some depression. Back in high school, Shinee was kind of what almost kept me going, I guess you could say. And I feel like I'm so used to hearing people say, well, that's kind of sad, like that, you know, their music group, they don't know you exist, you know, how can something like that get you going every day? And it's kind of just hard to explain to people how that is, but you know, I just kind of realized that I don't really have to explain myself and the way I feel about certain things. That's pretty much just my answer to people. I don't really have to explain myself, you know? And, you know, Shinee was kind of just really was and is still everything to me. Like, Shinee has just been, like, big for me. And, you know, it's going on to be this year, I want to say 9 years since I've been into K-pop, which is a really long time, I think. And, you know, and it's been kind of a really interesting journey where I've made friends, gained new music preferences. I've just really opened my mind to so many different cultures, to just all these things. And I just really do want to thank Shinee, honestly, for everything they've done for me. I guess to kind of not end this video, but like, I don't want to make this super long, to be honest, because I feel like we're going to be having some more special videos with all Shinee's comeback. Like, I already got my first album pre-ordered, and I cannot wait until the next 2 episodes come out, and so I can pre-order those as well. So I think just end this video, I kind of want to show you guys like my Shinee collection, sort of, almost. It's not finished yet, because around the time Shinee was releasing some of this stuff, I was a poor high school student who couldn't afford to buy anything. But now that I try to go back and buy the stuff I can buy, it's either out of print or they don't have it anymore. And so I just kind of, I'm kind of don't have my collection full the way I want it to be. But I feel like I still have a pretty nicely structured collection. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys that. And if you guys want to see a full K-pop album or just K-pop collection that I have that I've been collecting over the past like 9 years, let me know if you guys want me to do a video about that, because I totally will. I'm very proud of my K-pop collection. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, you can go ahead and just leave it in the comments down below. But yeah.
너의 다운이야 기분이 오해 척하면 척 너의 업이야 기분이 오해 너의 다운이야 기분이 오해 척하면 척 너의 업이야 기분이 오해 왜 너는 up down 기분이 맨날 달라 날 이리저리 흔들까 저 문을 들어선 그 순간부터 네 눈치만 보는 날 Hey baby 오늘은 baby Hey baby 어떨까 baby.
Well guys, this is my final look at my ever-growing Shinee collection. I'm very proud of my collection, and I still have more to add to it, such as like their official concert DVDs. I wasn't able to get my hands on when they came out because around the time they came out I was a poor high school student. I'm definitely in the market to get those as well to add my collection, as well as the other versions of some of these albums, because some of these albums did have multiple versions, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting those as well to add to my collection. And well, yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed my collection, and yeah, And I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below just to know your guys' Shinee story is, because I'm really curious to know, you know, how you guys got into them. Were they your first K-pop group? Just stuff like that. I would definitely just leave that in the comments down below. Let's just have a conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope you guys are going to enjoy Jordan and Jerron's video. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. All links are in the description down below, as well as the end screen. And yes, I guess with that being said, guys, I will